ज्ञानाञ्जन ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुर्वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारणं परमानंद माधवं कृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। So today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 10, and this is on Dhruva Maharaja's fight with the Yakshas. So before we begin, would anybody want to tell us, who Yakshas are, what their qualities are? So I'm in the presentation mode, so I can't see if anybody is raising their hand. So you can unmute yourself and speak out. Do we have any volunteers? Okay, so I'll just explain what yakshas are. Actually, there's a mention of them in Canto 3, Chapter 20, where their origin is explained. And it is said that Lord Brahma, he was disgusted with the body of ignorance and he threw it away. And that's when yakshas and rakshasas who sprang to life ran towards it to kind of devour it. So this shows their attitude, that quality of ignorance, the tamas that they have. And Lord Brahma says, no, he starts pleading, please don't eat me, you should protect me. And the yakshas say, we are hungry and, we want to eat. So that is the quality of ingratitude that they exhibit, because, just because they are hungry, they are okay with eating their own father. So that is the first instance where we get to know about yakshas. That said, yakshas occupy the upper Himalayan region, and they are ruled by Kubera, and they are known for their magical potency and magical spells, and they are also followers of Lord Shiva. So, before we proceed further, I would like to recount whatever Satyabhama Mataji took us through in the last session. And impressed by Dhruva's austerities, the Lord appears in front of him, and he blesses him by putting his conch shell on Dhruva's forehead. And at that point, Dhruva is kind of completely purified. He's completely sanctified, and he loses all his material hankerings. So, if you remember, Dhruva came to the forest to pursue his penance in the hope that he gets an exalted kingdom, right? But the moment the Lord touches him, all his material hankerings just vanish, and uh, all that he asks of the Lord is that please bless me with the association of pure devotees. But the Lord, who is seated as Paramatma in each of our hearts, He knows exactly what we want, right? So He knew very well that Dhruva came here for asking for a very exalted kingdom. So He grants him that wish, though Dhruva is not asked for it, when the Lord appears in front of him. So He grants him the pole star, which is the Dhruva Loka. And this is part of Vishnu Loka, and this is where Shiro Udakashai Vishnu resides on the Milky Ocean. And this, since it's part of Vishnu Loka, it is not subject to destruction at the time of disillusionment, of dissolution. So, so the Lord blesses him with this Thruvaloka, and then the Lord blesses him with eternal youth. So now this is an interesting thing, right? I mean, you see lot many people chasing youth, by spending lakhs of rupees. There is also this, very famous, tech entrepreneur called Brian Johnson. He spends close to 2 billion US dollars on chasing youth, and he thinks, by he can reverse the process of aging, and he can probably overcome death also. So that's a completely different matter of debate. So here Trua is getting all of that, for free, just because the Lord is merciful towards him. Then the Lord also tells him that he will be ruling the planet for 36,000 years. And the Lord also explains certain events that will happen in his lifetime, and then the Lord departs from there. So Dhruva at this point is feeling dejected about the kind of material longings that he had when he, walked to the forest. And he regrets the whole process, and he thinks, I should have just asked for pure devotion at the lotus feet of the Lord instead of desiring material position and power. And, when he comes back to the kingdom, he's welcomed with a lot of fanfare by his father, King Uttanapada, and mothers, Queens Suruchi and Suniti. And now King Uttanapada is very happy that Dhruva is back, because he was all along, he was regretting the fact that, this 5-year-old boy, my son, had to go to the forest because of the way I behaved with him. And so he sees that the citizens and his ministers approve of Dhruva, and he's happy with it. He puts him on the throne, and then he departs to the forest to pursue his austerities and for self-realization. So this is where the last chapter ended. So some of the key learnings that I got so far, I've just jotted them down. One is that a person's character is not shaped by material conditions. So material conditions don't define, what we are actually, the kind of person that we are. So if you look at both the queens, Suruchi and Suniti, they are, as different as chalk and cheese. So, you look at Queen Suruchi. She's young, she's beautiful, she's the king's favorite, and her son, gets pampered by the king at the expense of Dhruva. So she has. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have a pet and she's making some noise. Okay, so please forgive that. So what happens is that she has everything going for her, but despite all of this, she's like envious of a 5-year-old boy who just wants to play on his father's lap. So, I mean, so it's kind of contradictory, right? Somebody who is in so much of a position of strength, feeling envious of a small boy. Meanwhile, you look at Queen Suniti, and she's the neglected wife, and her son is being ill-treated uh, by the other queen. But in spite of all of this, she's such an evolved soul that she tells Dhruva, when Dhruva comes to her, she tells Dhruva, don't harbor any kind of ill feelings or malice for your stepmother, because if you do that, in the process, you will end up hurting yourself. So, what you should do instead is, as she advised you rightly, go and, pray to the Lord. So, um, so that kind of puts in perspective, the difference in character. And then, of course, the distinction between ordinary consciousness and Krishna consciousness. So when Dhruva is going to the forest, he's in ordinary consciousness. And as a 5-year-old boy, you obviously can't blame him, right? And he goes there, and you know when he walks away, he's so hurt by whatever his stepmother and father have done. So he walks away with a lot of feeling of anger and resentment. And he goes with the feeling that, okay, I'm going to ask for a kingdom which is much more exalted than the kingdoms of my father, Uttanapada, my grandfather Swayambhu Manu, or great grandfather Lord Brahma. So that's his feeling. So he's very much in ordinary consciousness, where he wants to achieve something just to show others ki, okay, I can be better than you. And the moment he's purified by the Lord's touch, uh, he's a completely transformed person. And he goes back to the kingdom, and he's able to forgive everybody. And that is what Krishna consciousness does. So I would also like to talk about two examples. One is of Srila Prabhupada. So he was on a plane to London in 1970s. And so in those days, obviously, airplanes didn't have personal screens. There was just one centrally located screen, and they were playing a movie there of Charlie Chaplin. And Indradyumna Maharaj was sitting next to him, and he was like, not very sure, ki how is Prabhupada going to react to this? Because after all, it is a movie that is being played. And he was quite surprised to see that Prabhupada was actually enjoying the movie, and he was chuckling throughout. So later he got to know that when Prabhupada was watching the movie, he was thinking of Krishna, throughout. He was thinking of Krishna's mischief, and, his antics, and how all of this, uh, comes from Krishna. So that is how we can define Krishna consciousness. When a person starts associating each and everything around them, even in this material world, uh, to Krishna. So now, talking about ordinary consciousness, I would like to take my own example. This was like 3 or 4 months after we got connected to ISKCON, and we were at the temple, and my daughter Ria was wearing a brand new croc, which was kind of expensive. And so when we came back from the temple, we found the crocs missing. And I was obviously kind of flustered, and we just happened to run into Achyuta Prabhu at that point in time. And I went to him and I explained, Prabhuji, like, this is what that has happened. The crocs have gone missing. They are brand new and kind of expensive and all of that. And all that Prabhu told me in a very cool manner is, just think that you have lost some bad karma. You know, so that is again an example of Krishna consciousness that he exhibited. Whereas I was thinking, I was outside the temple, and we are talking about Krishna consciousness, and I'm thinking about, this pair of slippers that has gone missing. So, that exhibits ordinary consciousness. And I know I have a long way to go. Yeah. So, uh, the third takeaway for me is that only by the Lord's mercy can one understand Him. So, yeah, if you look at Dhruva's, whatever happened in Dhruva's life, uh, when he goes there and when the Lord appears in front of him, uh, he's at a loss of words, right? He doesn't know how to glorify the Lord, and you can't blame him. He's just a 5-year-old. And at that point, the Lord touches him. And with that, he's completely purified. He gets an understanding of the absolute truth, the connection of the Jivatma to the Paramatma, and, the scheme of things. So, this just shows that we need Lord's mercy even to, understand Him. And there is another parallel that I would like to draw here, and this is regarding the Damodar Leela. We just completed the Kartik month, and in the Damodar Leela also, the three-year-old Krishna, he he's so mischievous that Ma Yashoda has to tie him. And when she gets a rope to tie him, what she finds is that the rope is falling 2 fingers short. So she gets another rope to tie to the original rope in the hope that she can tie him. But then, I mean, as you all know, it's difficult to bind the Lord, right? So she keeps on trying, and at the end, Krishna is like feels sad for his mom. He's kind of impressed with her efforts, and he allows himself to be tied to the rope of love. So here, I mean, if you see, constantly the rope was falling 2 fingers short. So one finger signifies the efforts that we have to put in, and the second finger stands for the Lord's mercy. And when these two fall into place, that's when you attain the Lord. So the fourth key lesson for me is that devotional service is the easiest way to cross over the nascent ocean of material existence. So you see, a 5-year-old Dhruva is able to uh, realize the Lord. I mean, he's able to self realize himself also, and he's able to realize the Lord through devotion and through, severe austerities for 6 months. And Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18.55, uh, Bhaktya ma abhijanati. So he says very clearly that it is only through pure devotion that you can understand me, you can attain me. And Harinam is the surest way to cross over this material ocean. Uh, I mean, if you look around, you see yogis practicing many, yogic tricks and kind of impressing the ordinary public with their yogic skills. But then what happens in that process is somewhere, the yogis get attached to the powers that they have, uh, that they want even more of it to show off their powers to the rest of the public. And in that process, they get rooted in, in the false ego, which is not something that the devotee experiences, right? Because uh, uh, one of the cardinal rules of devotional service is actual service. And when you do this, and when you keep chanting the Lord's name, you keep taking the Lord's name, uh, somewhere you are able to get rid of, all the uh, mm, what do you say, all the bad qualities in your mind, which are like calm, growth, lobh, moh, mad, and matsarya. So definitely devotional service is the easiest way to attain the Lord. Now we'll come to the actual chapter, which is chapter 10, which talks about Dhruva Maharaja's fight with the Yakshas. So this is a very brief chapter, and it's an action-packed chapter. It's like watching an action movie. Okay, so the chapter before this and the chapter which is going to come after this are very serious philosophical chapters. Here it's more of action, and it's a very kind of a breezy read. So, I mean, as we all discussed, King Uttanapada has already left for the forest to pursue austerities, and Dhruva Maharaja is ruling the kingdom. And in time, he gets settled down in matrimony. He marries Brahmi, who is the daughter of Prajapati Shishumara, and then he gets 2 sons from her. And later he marries Ela, who is the daughter of Vayudev, and he gets a son and a daughter from her. And so he is leading a very, a good life, as a righteous king, taking care of the kingdom and his family and all of that. And then something happens which, turns the table on him. And that is his half brother Uttama. He goes to the Himalayas on a hunting expedition, and over there he's killed by a yaksha. And so Queen Suruchi, who is Uttama's mother, she also goes in search of her son, and she gets caught in a forest fire, and she dies over there. So now this is an incident that the Lord had already told Dhruva, but at that moment, Dhruva is still, so this is something that he was aware. This is going to happen. But still, at that moment, he's really in a lot of grief and anger. So I would like to read from Srimad Bhagavatam over here. So this is text 4 of this chapter. Uh, so this is what the translation says. When Dhruva Maharaj heard of the killing of his brother Uttama by the Yakshas in the Himalaya mountains, being overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, he got on his chariot and went out for victory over the city of the Yakshas, Alakapuri. So the words here to watch out are lamentation and anger. So these are not words that you generally associate with an exalted devotee. But Srila Prabhupada explains this in the purport. He says it is a misunderstanding that a devotee should not be angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. Dhruva Maharaj was the king, and when his brother was unceremoniously killed, it was his duty to take revenge against the Yakshas from the Himalayas. So, if you see, in the code of conduct written by Manu, and Manu is Dhruva's grandfather, he says that a righteous king is a representative of the god. And just the way the god behaves, a righteous king has to behave. And so the code talks about the fact that whenever a king is supposed to uphold dharma, and whenever there is a violation, he has to punish the offender. So, as a Kshatriya, it is Dhruva's duty to punish the Yaksha because his own half brother, who is also a part of his kingdom, has been killed in a unfair manner. So, uh, you find some kind of a parallel in Ramayana also, where King Ikshvaku actually tells his descendants ki, as a righteous king they have to uphold dharma. And that is also one of the reasons that in the Ikshvaku line we have such great kings like King Ikshvaku himself, then Raja Harishchandra, Dashrath Maharaj, and Lord Ramachandra. So in earlier days, that's the way the kings behaved. They listened to they learned the scripture and they lived their life by the scriptures. So now, I mean, if you also look at other scriptures, you find many such examples where devotees behave in a manner which is unbecoming of them. So you have Arjuna, who is the greatest warrior of his time, or maybe of all times, getting weak kneed and developing cold feet when he's on the battlefield. And that is not something that you would associate with Arjuna at all. Similarly, Maharaj Parikshit, puts a dead snake around the neck of a rishi. That's also not a normal way, of behavior, right? So, and these are exalted devotees. So, why does this happen? Because the Lord, this is all part of the Lord's plan, and he kind of orchestrates everything so that he can give a larger lesson to the uh, to everybody else. So here what happens is, as Satyabhama Mataji rightly pointed out in the last session, because out of Arjuna's predicament, you get the Bhagavad Gita. And out of Parikshit Maharaja's predicament, you get the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the thing is that we have to see the Lord's hand in everything that happens. So now what happens is Dhruva goes to Alakapuri, which is the capital city of the Yakshas, and that's where Kubera sits. And there is a mention of Alakapuri even in the Ramayana. Uh, Ravana, as you know, is the half brother of Kubera, and he's very envious of his brother. And he goes over there and he ransacks the city and he steals the Pushpak Vimana and flies back with it. So that's how Ravana gets hold of the Pushpak Vimana. So now coming back to Dhruva, he's at Alakapuri and he calls for a battle with the Yakshas, and the Yakshas come out. Now, what happens during the battle is, a seesaw of fortunes. So sometimes it looks like Dhruva is, overpowering the Yakshas, and at times the Yakshas strike back. So it's a constant, up and down of fortunes. So in the beginning, Dhruva does pretty well. He's able to exhibit his extraordinary skills, and he's able to kind of overpower the Yakshas. And then the Yakshas strike back. And at this point, it looks like, you know, Dhruva is losing the battle, and Siddhas, who are also celestial beings who occupy a higher planet, they are watching the entire battle sequence, and they get worried about Dhruva. So uh, we have that mentioned in text 14. So this is what the translation says. All the siddhas from the higher planetary systems were observing the fight from the sky. And when they saw that Dhruva Maharaj had been covered by incessant arrows of the enemy, they roared tumultuously. The grandson of Manu, Dhruva, is now lost. They cried that Dhruva Maharaj was just like the sun, and that now he had set within the ocean of the Yakshas. So, there are two important things in this translation. One is that, Dhruva Maharaj is being compared to a sun who has set. So when you talk about the sun just hides temporarily, and then he is back, right? So similarly, what they imply here is that Dhruva will be back. So I'm just reading the purport. In this verse, the word manava is very significant. Generally, this word is used to mean human being. Dhruva Maharaj is also described here as a Manava. Not only is Dhruva Maharaj a descendant of Manu, but all human society descends from Manu. According to Vedic civilization, Manu is the lawgiver. Even today, Hindus in India follow the laws given by Manu. Everyone, therefore, in human society is a Manava or descendant from Manu. But Dhruva Maharaj is a distinguished Manava because he is a great devotee. So the word Manu, the word Manav in Hindi or the word Manushya, if you see, they all derive from the word Manu, which basically means all human beings are descendants of Manu. Now, continuing with the purport, the denizens of the planet Sithaloka, where the residents can fly in the sky without airplanes, were anxious over Dhruva Maharaja's welfare in the battlefield. Srila Rupa Goswami says, therefore, that not only is a devotee well protected by the Supreme Lord, but all the demigods and even ordinary men are anxious for his safety and security. The comparison given here that Dhruva Maharaj appeared to merge in the ocean of the Yakshas is also significant. When the sun sets on the horizon, it appears that the sun drowns in the ocean. But factually, the sun has no difficulty. Similarly, although Dhruva appeared to drown in the ocean of the Yakshas, he had no difficulty. As the sun rises again in due course at the end of night, so Dhruva Maharaj, although he might have been in difficulty, because after all it was a fight, and in any fighting activities there are reverses, that did not mean that he was defeated. So this is also an important point for us. See, whenever a devotee is in trouble, it's not just the Lord, and the Lord obviously takes care of us, but he also makes necessary arrangements for us, so that his other devotees come to help us. So that's what happens. And then the yakshas now start using their mystical spells to kind of perplex or confuse Dhruva Maharaj. And then it looks like there is a heavy downpour, and the downpour disgustingly is of blood, mucus, pus, dead bodies, etc. Then it looks to through Maharaj like pralaya is going to happen, and the waves are coming towards him to kind of wash him away. And he also sees some fire breathing serpents moving towards him. So all of this is kind of an optical illusion created by the yakshas. And uh, Dhruva Maharaj is aware that this is an optical illusion, but at that moment he freezes. He's kind of paralyzed. And that is when the sages come. And the sages are again devotees of the Lord. They come and offer him encouragement, and they bless him. So that to me is the highlight of this chapter. This is the last text number 30. I'm just reading out the translation. Or so the sages are saying, the holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord Himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can be fully protected from fear's death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved. Now, the purport. The great rishis approached Dhruva Maharaj at a time when his mind was very perplexed due to the magical feats exhibited by the yakshas. A devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his inspiration only, the sages came to encourage Dhruva Maharaj and assure him that there was no danger because he was a soul fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord. By the grace of the Lord, if a devotee at the time of death can simply chant his holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply by chanting this Maha Mantra, he immediately surpasses the great ocean of the material sky and enters the spiritual sky. He never has to come back for repetition of birth and death. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can surpass the ocean of death. So Dhruva Maharaj was certainly able to surpass the illusory magical feats of the yakshas, which for the time being disturbed his mind. So that's how this chapter ends. And, I would also like to kind of talk about how devotees support each other. So there is this instance in the Ramayana where Hanumanji is kind of he's forgotten all his powers and all the Vanara Sena is at the southern tip of India, and they're planning to reach over to Lanka and they don't know how to go about it. And at this point, Jambavan reminds Hanumanji ki, you have great potential, and he reminds him of all his childhood exploits, and he reminds him about his purpose in life, which is to serve Lord Ramachandra. So, at that moment, uh, everything, all his memories come flooding back to Hanumanji, and there is a massive leap of faith in him, and he takes that leap towards Lanka. So. This is how being in the association of devotees can help us, whenever we are feeling down or let down by things that happen in this world, because as they say, this is dukhalayam ashashvata. Devotees can always kind of push you towards the actual meaning or purpose of life. And so these are some of the key learnings from this chapter. uh, as you see, nothing is more important than seeking self realization. So, if you look at King Uttanapada, he sets an example for all of us. He shows that you don't have to wait for everything to happen to go in search of self realization. His son is still not settled. I mean, he's just enthroned his son, but his son is not settled. He is not married. So King Uttanapada doesn't have this desire to you know. Kind of wait to see him married and to see his grandkids. He's just hungry for self realization, and he goes to the forest. So this just shows that this is a lesson for all of us, that we have to be hungry for self realization, and that is the purpose of life. And a devotee is always protected by the Lord, demigods, and other celestial beings. And as we have, very clearly seen, how the siddhas and the sadhus rally around Dhruva, when he's in difficulty, just reminds us that, the Lord always makes some arrangement or the other. Either he himself intervenes or he makes some arrangement which will make things easier for us and will move us towards self-realization. And it's equally important to keep chanting the holy name. You see the power of the holy name uh, in this last section that I read out, right? So Harinam is the only way to cross over this material ocean, and this is the most efficient spiritual practice that one can undertake in this time and age. And simply by chanting the Lord's name, we can rid ourselves of all the anarthas and hopefully go back home, back to Godhead. So maybe we can conclude this session by chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Uh,
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the session. Anybody is having any questions or any comments? Anybody want to add anything?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Very nice session, Mataji. And very, very much so much. You started the session with so many learnings for Baddha Jiva and how Muktatmas like Prabhupada, how they are behaving, how they are seeing everything. In everything, they are seeing Krishna, and how we are like. It was very much connecting. I was feeling very much connected to it. That yes, Mataji, and you said the session with such a nice connection that we could made that everything when session started, it was very, very nice and very simple and sweet, and we could understand the session what you are going to tell. So very nice, Mataji. Congratulations to you for
thank
wonderful
you.
session. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. It's a thanks for the wonderful class. Really nice. I like that you just come across some realization, like you just mentioned that how we are just come out of the material things, like Dhruv Maharaj. Initially, he just a material desire. Later, he just turned to that he just felt bad for that material desire, right? Like that, you just use an example of that your daughters lost the crops, like things, and Prabhupada pastimes and all. It's wonderful, Mataji. It comes very nicely. So wonderful class. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your kind words. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful session. And it was very nice, short and crisp, and all the points and takeaways were very good. Example and story of Prabhupada, which always tells us that how we can remain connected and everything we can see. Prabhupada even enjoyed the movie from Krishna's perspective. So how we can see everything, in everything we can see presence of Krishna and relate to Krishna in our life. Very good realizations, Mataji, and takeaway points. And you took the session wonderfully, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm so,
Very
so embarrassed, about the conversation we had, really.
no. It's a great learning for me also from those conversations. So, but very beautifully and eloquently described, Mataji. You said you were very nervous. Actually, we were all nervous hearing the way you spoke, so beautifully articulated with pastimes, self-realization, so many examples and pastimes. Very nicely walked through, Mataji. Really, thank you so much. You kept it very simple because you said it is a very philosophical. This chapter and the next chapter coming is quite philosophical and quite difficult to understand and relate it, but you sort of made it very easy and simple to understand. So it's such a wonderfully articulated session. And thank you so much for giving us this nectarian pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, and wishing you all the blessings from Sri Gandharvika Giridhari and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. This means a lot to me.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So I would also like to add further saying that, it didn't look like you were taking Bhagavatam class first time. It was coming out so naturally. So we are really, really happy to hear you, and we always look forward to you and Mataji being very, very important part of Radha Govinji circle. And because you and Ria is like, you both are very intellectual kind of personalities. So those kind of people should lead the movement. We need people like you who can take movement forward. So it was a very, very pleasing to have you, a very wonderful session, because as you said, there's nothing much in this chapter. And I know sometimes we struggle to find out what to say in those kind of chapters where there are only some incidents happening and nothing much to this thing. But you nicely started with the learnings and ended with the learning. So it's a very wonderful way to present a little simpler chapters like this. So very, very very happy, Mataji, that so we look forward to more and more classes from you. I think you can be a wonderful Bhagavatam speaker and preacher. You have wonderful qualities to preach to others. So we really wish you all the best, and Ria as well, that you both becomes wonderful warriors in the army of Srila Prabhupada and take this movement forward. Thank you so much for taking all the endeavor today. And always, first step is difficult, but after that, I think it's all, once the hesitation goes away, then it's very easy. So then you can now take more and more steps like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah.
Wonderful class, Mataji. You are telling you're nervous, but it was going so smooth, nicely. No, like here and there, everything was in set up beautifully, and nicely all the points you have set with wonderful examples. My one question is there, Mataji. So in our today's Kali Yuga, whom we can see as yakshas?
I think Mataji, probably the senior Vaishnavas can explain this, but from whatever little I remember out of whatever I read so far, Prabhupada says very clearly that we still have people in society who don't think twice about killing others and eating them. That is the example that Prabhupada has given in Canto 3, chapter 20, where yakshas are being introduced. I can read it out, Mataji, one second. So this is what Prabhupada says. The representatives of the yakshas and the rakshasas still exist in some countries of the world. It is understood that such uncivilized men take pleasure in killing their own grandfathers and holding a love feast by roasting the bodies. So this is exactly the words of Prabhupada, but maybe other senior Vaishnavas can enlighten us more on this.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Premdata Prabhu, can you please add some more to that?
I was hesitating because I also don't know much about the yakshas. But yeah, they are celestial personalities who have. So, like that, we have many Gandharvas, yakshas, and Siddhas and Charanas, Vidyadharas. We get a lot of references about them in our scriptures. So, they are all celestial personalities, Uh, so they're there in the material world. That's all, man. I don't know. Of course, Prabhupada has related it as Mataji read it, that to the general society. We have people like that who are envious of others, but they're just personalities. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know much about how to relate to them in today's world, but I think they are, irrespective of yuga, these personalities are always there, Mataji.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Srirekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Wonderful.
Vinda Mataji. Yeah.
Wonderful session. It was long time awaited. And
Thank you
we
so much,
wanted to
Mataji.
hear how you will carry forward this legacy of Srila Prabhupada. You and Ria, we are always grateful to you for coming forward and doing so many services without any expectations from that. And sincerely, you are practicing your Krishna consciousness so nicely. We are so happy, so grateful to the Supreme Lord to send you as a part of our family. And the session was seriously very nice, how you have connected. And it was so nice to hear like how Satyamama Mataji gave. You were connecting both the chapters at every moment. That I very much like, no, because sometimes we deliver our content and we are not able having any connection with the previous one. So that connections with the chapters are very much important to establish, and you nicely kept it like giving the reference, and the examples were very nice and very connecting with today's time and present examples, like how you gave Ria's Crocs example about yourself. So it is like, no, sometimes we tell examples about others, but giving the low example about our own self is like a very nice learning, that how we should present the things. So that I very much like, because generally we give our good examples. So that is also nice, that how you presented. I know you were very much scared how you will present in front of all the senior Vaishnavas, senior devotees. Premadatta Prabhu is there, Achyut Prabhu is there, Rigesh Prabhu is there. All senior devotees are there, and you have to present, and you were feeling I'm so small in front of all of them. How I'll speak. Majority of our group members are having that fear in their heart. So our all the senior devotees are very much like no expect, like no, they don't expect very high this thing, and they are so humble and like no down to earth, that they give platform to each and everyone's. Even we started like that, and you expect like no accepted this thing, and you took this service so nicely. You have presented it very in a humble manner. Each and everything was presented. Nowhere we felt you were nervous. So it shows a lot of mercy was flowing
Yes.
from the Lordship and Srila Prabhupada. So you are ready now for all the preaching efforts. I know you were always ready, and it's now that no Lord is giving you opportunities. So you should take it always and be ready to serve the mission.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much, Mataji.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Mataji. I can't, explain how grateful I am to you and Mahaprem Prabhu. And he actually helped me refine, this presentation. He gave me a couple of examples also. So I am like completely grateful to you.
yeah. We Mahaprem Prabhu, like whenever any of our members class is taking, he's like no, he's parallelly taking classes. He'll put tilak and he'll sit like, okay, today session. It's like small kids know that, but the children has to take up it sincerely, and that the thing we are seeing in our team. Everyone is very nicely, sincerely taking up all the efforts they put, and little like no back support is given. They just start. So that is how is the new generation is groomed, and we were also like no, all our senior devotees gave chance in like that way only, and it's how it's moving ahead. So thank you very much, Mataji,
Thank you
for
so much,
taking up. I
Mataji.
know you were very much occupied with your office work, so much packed, so much challenges are there, but still you took up and studied the whole chapter very nicely, brought so many examples, connecting things, and made it easy for all of us to understand. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. We
Thank,
sincerely pray for your progress. Hare Krishna.
thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
for all the endeavor. I was also worried. There's only 20 plus sloka, and it's all about fighting. So within the fight, what we need to tell is so difficult sometimes. If some key slokas are there, then we can expand it. But just as a fighting happening here and there, and we have to tell something, and that too of 1 hour, so it seems very challenging. but very nicely you have connected all the dots and explained so beautifully. I was so happy to hear the way you are conveying the messages of Prabhupada and devotees and key learning. They are something that is what we imbibe these things. Otherwise, one is a storyline, one is below the storyline, there's a key lessons there, and that is what is extremely beneficial for us in our day-to-day life. So you conveyed both the story part as well as the learning part. And that's where Srimad Bhagavatam is so special because both things are covered together. And everyone loves stories, what is happening next. And you have explained all the sequence of events in a very, very nice way, connecting the dots from Ramayana, from various examples. You have covered an entire spectrum, like from Ramayana time, that Ikshvaku time to your time. So see, you have a spread of examples given at different layers. So that is very, very nice. It's very easy to understand, like when we give the examples, learning, practical aspects. So that makes a complete package that gives everything for this 1 hour. So it's a like a gift given to us, like with this 1 hour of investment, how much more we are getting. So thank you so much for all
Yes.
putting the things together, putting a lot of endeavor, taking the time out. And as you were initially thinking how we will present, so I always appreciate our devotees are always encouraging. They do not see the fault, they do not see the mistake. They always see what is a great thing the person speaker is trying to tell, and all devotees are very happy to for encouragement. That's what from this story we also get to learn. Okay,
Mhm.
there are devotees coming forward and encouraging. So similarly, this Bhagavatam class is our training ground where devotees come forward, try to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, and the rest of the devotees are like we are one family where we all encouraging each other, helping each other, and supporting each other. So it's a really amazing morning program that gives lot of encouragement and life lessons. So thank you so much, Mataji, for all your efforts.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Forever indebted to you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.